Well, hello everyone. We are reunited. HoDiGa is back. Hello everyone. Thanks so
Yay.
much for joining us. And just so you know, so we were just having some little delays backstage, and we're going to catch up on screen. So, Lady G, you were in mid-flow. Please carry on. You were talking about your booster, and we were talking about you, Dianne. So, please continue what we were saying backstage, Lady G.
Yeah, I just got my booster today, so I'm boosted up and had 3 of my iron infusions so far.
Good.
And so, working on that. But every time I go in, they have an infusion party, which means it takes 2 of them to find my vein. One is feeling where the needle's going, and the other one is.
That's not a good party.
No, it's not a party you want to join.
No.
Yes. And how is the iron level? How
Yeah.
is it? Is it improving, or is it still very low?
It's still low. They haven't done the actual thing, but she says it takes at least 3 or 4 before you start to feel any effects. And mine is so low. I think maybe the next one or the one after, I think about halfway in, I should start feeling it.
Good.
So,
Okay, that's good. And
Yeah,
as
that's
everyone can see, sorry, did you have anything else to add there, or you good?
No.
Okay, perfect. So as everyone can see, Dianne has returned.
I'm
She's
back.
back. She's back. So obviously we have missed you. We're glad to.
Oh, I missed you.
Oh, thank you.
Both of you.
How have you been? So please give us a quick update, because we've not seen you for a few weeks now. I mean, we know there's been the dramas, but how have things been? You were talking
my
about
goodness.
your what did you say? Your still a bit of fever going on. So
I still have COVID. It's just lingering. It's been a month. It's not going away. So I mean, I play it minute by minute. Yesterday I was in bed for the whole day with a really high fever. I have a fever now, but it's doable. So,
Oh my goodness.
Do
you know, is it the Omicron or is it the COVID-19?
I don't know. But the other thing that I'm interested in is that the Flurona. Did I get the H3N2 along with it? Because now the Flurona is going around, and as you probably know, H3N2 is causing its own pandemic, and it's jumped into dogs. And so
I hadn't heard that. Flurona, huh? That does not sound good.
No, because I had all the stomach things too, because I had like the stomach bug type issues, but then I had more of like the coronavirus type issues. And so I'm kind of thinking I had like the whole Flurona experience.
Yeah.
And it's just day by day. I mean, I'm just drinking lots of fluids. Yesterday was a pajama day with Annie. I mean, it was 16 degrees. It's been 16 degrees. It's freezing, right?
Oh my God.
So we have the heated blanket. Annie gets under the blanket with me. We snuggle. It's good.
That's good.
Wow.
But yeah, it's been tough. I won't lie.
Yeah, no, not fun. That's why I would have been really careful and want to get my booster ASAP.
I want to get mine, but I want to feel a little bit healthier first.
Yeah, I wouldn't get it when you got that fever.
Not quite yet. Yeah,
no.
Absolutely.
Maybe in a week or so, I'll try. But of course, too, here where I live, we've run out of the boosters, and we've also run out of all the testing kits. And in my town, we only have one testing center. So it took a long time for me to even get tested.
Yesterday
that was another issue.
We have a testing center close to where I'm at. They had a huge, long line of people getting tested, waiting for their results. There must have been 15, 20 cars waiting for results.
It's bad. At least you don't have to stand on your feet, because a lot of them, because I couldn't have stood on my feet.
Yeah.
And some of these people, they have to stand on their feet 5 and 6 hours. And when you're feeling like that, I don't think even today I could stand on my feet for 5 or 6 hours. And so we still only have one. It's not even the hospital. It's just a single pharmacy for this whole area.
Oh my!
Tens of thousands of people, and they've run out of the home testing kits.
All they have? One pharmacy that's doing it?
Only one. The other pharmacies aren't, and the hospital isn't, and the urgent care isn't. And there's no more testing kits. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of how I'm feeling.
That's what I've got at the bottom of the deck. My goodness.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's been tough. And like my family is so funny because they're saying, "Oh, you don't feel good. Maybe you should go back to the hospital." And I'm like, "No.
No.
No, like that's
Yeah, when you see me coming, please lock the door, bar me from coming in. Yeah.
oh Lord."
Wow.
But so I'm here and I'm doing my best, but yeah, I'm still feverish.
Well, I
Yeah.
hope you feel better soon. That's
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Just
you.
like
Yeah.
that Nine of Wands right at the base of the deck. I thought that's the one. That's the one that shows it up. So we will, of course, discuss as we go along. We'll get started with the show. I just want to say a welcome to everyone. There's a lot of you here already. So we'll do a quick shout outs and then we'll get stuck into the questions. As usual, these are cold reads. The ladies have not seen these questions. So we're going to be straight in. It's a cold read. But just to mention too, at the top of the show, Dianne has brought her pendulum. Yeah, so isn't it in a bit of innovation? Yeah, there's the pendulum. And I think today, in light of one of the questions coming up, I think this will be the first time for you, Dianne, but I think we should also have some Shakespeare says when it comes to some of these rather dodgy kind of characters. So who do we have in today? We have got Patricia Franzino. I've got a question of yours that I'll be reading out for everyone today, Patricia. Sharon Donnelly, Susan Chacken, Margaret W, Connie Brown, Mark McKenzie, Joanne B. Hello. And Melissa Gerber, Rhonda Rue, and many more. So obviously we'll try and get some shout outs to you. And as usual, we'll try and keep the show to an hour. So I think we'll probably manage maybe about 5 questions today. And if there is a bit of space, then we can go in with a Brucey bonus. And the first question here, and this is one that I wanted to ask, is it's about Ted Cruz. Yeah, Ted Cruz. Oh my goodness. Now this guy, the word lickspittle comes to mind. Let's just put that. Yeah. Very British word, lickspittle. Yeah. And he appeared on Foxtrot. Yeah, Foxtrot.
I love it.
And he was basically being upbraided by a certain Carlson person, shall we say, trucker. Yeah, let's just say trucker. And because he said, Cruz said the Jan 6th was a terrorist attack, which of course is counter to the narrative of the you know what.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially he was pulled in front of Daddy for a spanking. Yeah. And Cruz just wilted. Yeah, just wilted. And we all know this person, and I think that's why we need to do a Shakespeare says on this person, because the character that he is. So what I wanted to ask is quite simply, what's his future? What's his future? Because he's no longer, it seems, the darling of the far right. And we know he's got a checkered past. So just wanted to ask, what's his future?
Yeah, let's take a look.
What's Ted Cruz's future? Oh, actually, I'm going to use the cat. I've got a new deck, by the way, Dianne. A cat deck.
Oh, cat deck. Oh, I have a cat deck too.
I'm going to go cats. I'm going to go cats on Ted Cruz. Because he's he's an interesting character.
Kitty, meow.
Mm-hmm.
Little catty.
Ted Cruz. What's his future? What's his future? Mr. Cruz. Cancun Cruz. Cancun Cruz. Let's see. Oh, these cards are coming quite quick. All right. Who is ready to go? Or I could go first on this one.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. I'll change this. So we'll go in screen order. So I'll go
Okay.
first, Diane, and then Lady G. All right. Let's see what we've got here. I'm gonna tentatively move my camera just in. I did it. So I'm turning. Ooh.
Everybody hold tight.
I know we've got to be careful just in case the whole show cuts out, everyone. Oh my God, look at this. The cards. Oh my gosh, look at these cards. All right. Let me just make sure that I'm reading all of these, yes, accurately. Yeah, there we are. Because the imagery is a little bit different. So if we look here, I have got, let me turn my lighting a little bit because the card might be, the lighting might be too bright. Can we see that? Because the thing is, it's a white cat, so it's the Ace of Cups. Let me just double check. No, it's the King of Cups. Pardon. It gives a little thingy. Well, there's a little crown there, so it must be the King of Cups. Now, normally, of course, the King of Cups would be what, Joe, as what we refer to as Joe Biden, isn't it? So could there be a bit of Joe Biden energy coming in here? But in regards to his future, the King of Cups is essentially it's an emotional man, isn't it? It's a creative man, an emotional man, a man who's in touch, in touch with his sensitivity. So maybe this is how Cruz is sort of seeing himself, as if he's in tune. It's like he's trying to get in tune with the times, and it's almost like his better judgment. It's like his judgment got the better of him in the sense of that he said the truth, what he's felt. Yeah, because he said Jan 6th was a terrorist attack, and apparently he said that 17 times. So he's basically kind of spoken. Yeah, he's put his heart on his sleeve. However, what we have crossing it is the Two of Swords, which is about what? Taking decisions. And I think it has now reached the point where Ted Cruz really does have to take some decisions on what his stance is officially on the narrative. Because on one hand, he's like, Duck L'Orange is, the leader, blah, blah, blah. This whole thing is a hoax. The election was stolen. But then he's contradicting that narrative by saying that Jan 6th was what it was, which was this attack. So he's torn because now the right are starting to turn on him. And, as we know, Trucker has got a certain look and a frown that he likes to fling on certain politicians. Yeah. So here, I think Cancun Cruz is going to have to work very hard. This is the 8 of Pentacles. He's going to have to really work very hard to kind of recover his position. He's had this wobble, and I should have said, actually, this is the Two of Swords. Some people say that they can't always see the cards clearly, so they like it if we say the card. That was just some feedback I had. So he's going to be working very hard. But what is he working against? Look at that. Devil. Yeah. And if we look here, these cats look, this is a terrifying card. Look at these so-called cats. They've got rabbit's ears. Yeah. I remember when my friend first showed me this card, and honestly, it gave me the heebie-jeebies. So that is the whole background. He knows he's intelligent, more than intelligent enough to know it's all a load of baloney. Yeah. And his facade keeps slipping, and he's wondering how to maintain it. But he's also aware of what? The base, who are scrutinizing. Look at the look in the eyes of these two. Oh my God. Exactly. And what I think he's trying to do is maintain his position. This is the 9 of Pentacles here. So we can see the Falcon. He wants to maintain his position. He wants to keep his money, his connections. But I think emotionally and psychologically, he's torn. I think it's getting harder and harder for him to maintain this facade. And now he's really starting to grovel. And whether you're wrong or right, no one likes a groveling sycophant. So I'll leave it there. Dianne.
Okay, so his cards are a little rough around the edges, let's say. So he's feeling a bit burdened and oppressed,
There we are.
you know. But of course, too, this character's doing it to himself. If he bundled up those wands appropriately, put them on his back, he could see where he's going. But in the sense, it's like he's doing it to himself. And so this is the 10 of Wands. And 10s are also about being towards the end of something. So, you know, the next card I get, the Chariot, not being able to move forward and not taking control appropriately. Followed by the Death card. I don't think it's literal, but, you know, I think it could be the end of his career the way he wanted it, you know, especially where it's coupled with a 10. Things are starting to come, you know, full circle with him. And, you know, but he's still trying to come up with plans and schemes and strategies. He's hoping for some good news. And for a clarifier, I used my fairy deck, and I got the 10 of Autumn, and listen to what it says. Take steps to ensure the financial security of your children and loved ones. Making wise investments or planning for your retirement.
The door shut.
my outcome card was the 9 of Pentacles, wasn't it? Which is about, you know, financial security and all of that stuff. Wow.
Right?
So, Lady G, are you ready? What would you?
Absolutely. Well, first card I get, he's out in the cold. Okay. Yeah. He is, you know, on the outs, challenges. He's got himself really tied up. He is in the mix now. So he's trying to figure a way to go forward. Where can I put my energy? What does my future hold? Oh my God. When it comes to the big money men, and it comes to, you know, big leader, fearless leader over there, I'd say he's not standing well. I have the same thing as you have.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Wow.
He hitched his thing to the wrong star, and now that star has just crashed and burned.
Right.
Yeah. That's what it seems like. Doesn't it? And for characters like him, let's have a little bit of Shakespeare's Says. So, Dianne, this will be new for you. So this is a little book I got over Christmas. And what it is called Shakespeare, The Bard's Guide to Abuses and Affronts.
Yes.
Yeah? And what I do is I close my eyes. So here's this little book here, and I've got this little elastic band just so I can find the page where the quotes begin. And I close my eyes and I flick backwards and forwards, and then either of you just tell me when to stop. Yeah.
Stop.
Okay. And then what I will do is I will actually, this, weirdly enough, this doesn't actually have any words on it. Let's just see again. 1 second. Ask me again. It just managed to fall to a page that didn't have any.
Dianne, you pick it. Tell him to stop when you feel the right one.
Stop.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
This is what the Bard has to say about Cancun cruise. Mark the fleers, jibes and notable scorns that dwell in every region of his face.
Lord.
So I read that again. Mark the fleers, jibes and notable scorns that dwell in every region of his face. And that is from Othello. Yeah. So really what is that is saying is look at this face where it's constantly changing from one state of expression to another. And I think how appropriate is that, given this character who's always talking out the side of his mouth, saying one thing, getting insulted, and then responding in another way. So a bit of a long one, but that one's come from Othello. So I thought that's what the Bard has to say about Mr. Cruz.
I love it. I love it.
Anything else to add to that before I move to the next question?
Well, he is a fleer, right?
Yeah.
He is. I just thought it was so interesting that it said fleer, someone who runs, flees.
Exactly.
That's exactly what he's been doing, particularly when he went to, Cancun.
Cancun, yes.
Very, very
Yikes.
interesting. Okay, so let's go international. As you guys know, I often like to have the second question be an international one, and this one is about Ethiopia. I've been asked this question for a while, actually, and forgive me for the person who asked the question. Sometimes I just forgot or what have you, but just to give everyone a little bit of a background. So today, actually, on the news, so there's this government. The government of Ethiopia is fighting rebels in a region of Ethiopia called the Tigray region. And essentially, the Tigray region has just suffered airstrikes, and allegedly 56 people have perished, unfortunately. And this was a school. It was a school.
Oh, no.
And it looks like, it's not yet independently verified, they said, but it looks like the government has bombed the school. So this could be the government of Ethiopia bombing its own citizens, trying to get these rebels, because this conflict has been going on for over a year now. I think they said November 2020, something like that. So what I wanted to ask, a very simple question, is what does the future hold for Ethiopia? And we've just been joined by 724 of you now. So thank you so much, guys.
Exciting.
And let's see, while we shuffle on that, I'll just do some readouts. So we've got Marvel Johnson, we've got Ash, Jennifer Gross, Melissa Gerber, Margaret Rogers, Nancy Cornett, and many others, Julie M. So thank you guys for joining us. Ethiopia.
Oh, it just makes my heart sad to go into that energy. When I go into Ethiopia's energy, it just feels really sad, grief struck.
Ethiopia. What's the future of Ethiopia? It is sad. They've had such trials. I just remember the live. Do you remember the original live? Was it Live Aid in the 80s? Terrible famine, and it just seems like Ethiopia just can't catch a break. I think corruption's got a lot to do with it as well, unfortunately. When these governments that, sometimes misuse funds, but there's also as well debts as well. Africa is made to pay a lot of debts to the West as well, which doesn't help.
Right.
France too, all that stuff. So it's a combination of factors. Not that I want to let the government off the hook, bombing your own civilians is just like,
not okay.
But they're dealing with an insurgency as well, so a lot going on in the world. Oh crumbs. All right, so we do the same order again.
Sure.
Yeah, have you got some funny cards? Well, not funny, but maybe not great cards. Yeah, mine aren't great. So here we go. What does this symbolize? The situation symbolized by right now? Look at that. We have got the 7 of Cups, which deals with what? Illusions and delusions. Yeah, illusions, delusions. This could suggest as well that the government and the rebels they're just not in the right place. Their heads are just not in the right place. There's a tremendous amount of confusion here going on, and possibly, not knowing what option to choose, what to take. If we look here, infighting, but severe infighting. So this also shows as well, there's probably deep, not only deep conflict in the country, but also I would imagine within the Ethiopian government, because of course this is not a good look, isn't it? If you've just done an airstrike and 56 of your civilians, and you've bombed a school, there's going to be a lot of infighting. People are going to be like, oh my gosh, this doesn't look good. What's the worry, of course, for Ethiopia? Of course, it makes sense, doesn't it? 5 of Pentacles, feeling out in the cold, but also as well, I think this is that element of when it comes to international funding and trade and just in general. So many countries in Africa, but Ethiopia in particular, I think, has borne the brunt of famines, droughts, war, conflict for decades now. So I think they really feel out in the cold. There's a vindictive and spiteful energy at work. this again is conflict, rushing forward. But here it's even more internalized, but it tends to deepen the spite, basically the poison of the attacks. And this also as well can speak of the insurgency as well. And when we look here for the outcome card, we've got the Queen of Cups reversed. Now, sometimes, as we've seen, the Queen of Cups can refer to COVID and stuff like that. I'm not sure how much it refers to it in this case in terms of Africa. They're not as strongly affected. But what this would suggest is that there is definitely an emotional illness, emotional unwellness, being in need of support in some way. So really, if we take this as Ethiopia, because countries tend to be feminine in name in general, in many ways for me this almost sums up the malady of Ethiopia herself. Just not well, a lot going on, in need of support, and for positive things to happen. So maybe not so great for the immediate future. That's my take. Dianne, what do you think?
So, I mean, the first card that I get's the High Priestess. So the way I'm going to interpret that is that there's hidden agendas, there's secret motives. They have their reasons for doing things. They're obviously not going to be upfront about it. But I'm also going to say that they're not reasons that are for any good either. And what's the obstacle? Families. This is the only card that has 3 generations of a family on there. The grandparents, the parents, children, even the 2 dogs. And who is it affecting? It's affecting families. And it's also affecting finances. These people didn't have much to begin with. I don't know much about their leader per se, but I think here he is. And when I asked for, a clarifier, he's really trying to strike this path out on his own. He's trying to forge ahead and just do his own thing, despite what is good for the country and what's good for the people. But what really made me cringe was the clarifier, which is 6 of Summer in the fairy deck. And it says children or childhood. That is the first thing that it says. Wow. The return of people from the past, remembering events differently in a better or a worse light than how they really occurred. And so, I think the part about the children just really kind of struck me. It'll be interesting to see though if there is a return of people that are from the past, if there's another warring tribe, another warring faction, gang that could come forward. Wow. And then now we're going to have another whole issue.
In this bombing strike, a lot of those people that were affected were children. So that card is that's wow.
That's why I like the fairy deck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Very upsetting.
Lady G, what do you have for us?
First thing we have out is a tower moment. People are just, they're falling, they're dying. It's not good. The challenge is trying to get a beneficial offer from somewhere. But what they're being offered now is, the negative. Where they're putting their energy is to the negative. This was coming out on the slant to the negative, where the government's putting their energy, is to the negative. Okay, they're blocked off. They're just not taking anything in, and burdened. They're just carrying that burden. It's just, and this guy is, sitting there with his head wrapped up, and they have nothing, and they're not getting offers from anything.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. My goodness, it's almost as if the world is sort of fatigued. It's almost like the world is so stretched, isn't it? And tested every direction. We've got conflict here. Then we've got things going on with Russia, things going on with China, things going on with the USA. Do you know, it just seems like never ending, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Especially with this.
Sad because Ethiopia, they have the most wonderful churches. I don't know if you've ever seen the Ethiopian. Oh my goodness. Huh?
I think they've got a branch of the Coptic.
Yeah, they have the Coptic. They have the highest church in the world. I think it is. You climb this precarious mountain to get to this little church.
Wow.
And they have another
Oh, wow.
one that's carved right out of the rocks and stuff. It's an amazing thing what they have in Ethiopia.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. My goodness. Anything to add to that, ladies, before we go to the next one? Are we all good? All right. So this is international again, but this is more to do with nature, because as we know, on top of all the human crises going on, we've also got a climate crisis as well.
Yes.
So Patricia Franzina has asked, will the glacier, the Thwarts Glacier, which is basically the Doomsday Glacier, I found out today when I researched the size of this glacier, apparently it's the size of the UK. That's how big this glacier is. And she's asking, will it break off? And apparently it is breaking off in little chunks, which are 6 miles long each.
Yeah.
Little.
Little chunks,
Little
yeah.
chunks, 6 miles long each. And apparently if this thing breaks off, it could raise sea levels by 2 feet. Oh my goodness. So that, let's just say Florida and certain low-lying places around the world are gonna have issues. So the question is, will it break off? Will it break off?
Mm.
And then we've got some questions which are back in the States. But I mean, I know folks are probably watching like, oh my Lord, do we want to hear about this? But such is the world right now. There's just a lot going on. So that Doomsday Glacier, will it break off? Oh, I've got a card just falling out. Okay, I'll let that one drop.
Yeah, actually, me too. So
Did you have a fallout as well? Okay.
yeah, the cards are jumping here.
Okay. Will that glacier, will it break off? Will that glacier, will it break off?
I gotta go get Mr. Max. He's stuck on the couch. He's streaming.
No problem. We'll
What a
read.
baby.
He's
just a little baby.
Interesting. Oh wow. Okay, so while Lady G is busy, we will start the reading. So the first card I get, and we're up to 860 now, so thank you guys for joining us. First card I get is the Hierophant, which is what? Governments, yeah? Governments. Higher. Oh, you're joking. Look at that.
Same thing, first card.
As well. So here we are. What's this talking about? This is talking about governments, yeah? But when we think of what we've had recently, we've had COP26, haven't we? So it is time for what? Governments to sort it out. If this thing breaks off, it's obviously going to melt. It's going to be the size of Britain. And it's just, we've just got to wake up on this. And I think in many ways, there's many things happening in April. The last solar eclipse that just went through Antarctica. I said to people there will be news on Antarctica. And I think it's going to go through Antarctica again, the next solar eclipse, the shadow. OMG. And there's going to be this great truth. I think there's going to be many truths, but there's going to be a great truth, especially about the environment. And I think if this thing breaks off, then people are just going to be like, look, we just need to, people that don't believe anymore just really need to kind of examine their consciences, because it's just the sea level is just going to rise. It's just as simple as that. So there's that. So when we see the obstacle here, see, look, machinations going on, people not wanting to do that work to save the planet, scheming and all sorts. Yeah, we know what's going on. These are people who are just trying to stop all this stuff. But also as well, it's almost as if people are trying to stop the true knowledge coming forward. Let's put it that way. This also can be a predatory influence as well. And, just in comparison, coming with the government cards, this could also show as well, there can be people influencing global governments from behind the scenes, really. I mean, it's kind of pretty obvious now, but we know that this is going on. there'll be some messages kind of coming out, but we may not necessarily like those messages when they arrive. You know, pages of messages, you know, we're talking about that kind of stuff. So I think there's going to be a message about that glacier, and it could be an unpleasant one. Here, in a way, we are reaping what we sow, but in that negative sense, isn't it? So for me, this is almost like karma. Look, we've been watching this for years. Yeah, we know that this has been going on for years, and do-de-do-de-da, and the governments have not been doing much about it. But it's come out reversed. So in that, the way I interpret that is that reaping a more kind of negative kind of karma. And here's the hangman. When it's the right way up, this is about getting things from a different perspective. But when it's reversed, it can literally just mean being really stuck. Just being really stuck. And I think there's just been this inertia precisely because of this scheming going on, where certain industries, people in the fossil fuel industry, have been scuppering all of that change that needs to happen. And instead of having a fruitful harvest where, you know, we reap something good, it's coming more like that. So I think maybe it is going to break off. How will it not? But I'm hoping it doesn't. Dianne, what do you reckon?
So I sort of agree with you. Like, I hope that it doesn't, but the cards are not optimistic. You know, so we have, you know, the Seven of Wands, where, you know, there's not enough people fighting and working on this. You know, this fella, he's just here all by himself, all alone on a hill, and he's trying to fight off all these people. But, you know, I think he represents millions and millions and millions of us. But unfortunately, there's all these, you know, rich people down here, Republicans, 1%ers, the elite, that really just don't care.
It's a great
obstacle is, you know, to me, this is the card of like happiness, and, you know, also too, the smug merchant. There's a lot of these smug merchants, aren't there? Right? They care about money, 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 and what's best for them with their industries. I get the card of a ruthless battle and abuse of power, followed by brokenheartedness and grief. And it's interesting, you guys got the Hierophant, and as the clarifier, I got the Emperor. So there's some similarities here, because it says use logic and structure to increase success. Yes, we need to have plans and strategies. Get organized. A firm but compassionate leader.
Wow.
So somebody needs to take charge that's really going to, you know, yes, be compassionate, but still be firm. And but yeah, logic and structure. I mean, something has to change. We need strategies and plans.
Wow. I mean, that is something, isn't it? And Lady G, what about you?
Well, I got the first thing starting out. Government, you know, we need to have experts. We need to have people that are in the know, because people have just had, you know, too much abundance. You know, they've been, what can you say? The wealthy are trashing the planet. So it's coming to a time of a hard truth. You know, the truth is coming out. You've got to face it now. So that action is going to take place, and it's going to affect everybody. Okay. And we need to take action, do whatever we can. But at this point, we're all in the mix, and this is going to come down, and it's a hard truth.
Wow. Look what I've got at the base of the deck, just shuffling. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that. Because the thing is this, it's, and I'm sorry, everyone watching it, if the show may feel a little bit heavy, but like I said, we are in pivotal times where the whole Earth is currently under Kala Sarpa Yoga, where all of the planets on one side of the Nova Moon, which means we're heavily fated right now. There's a tremendous amount of fate and karma maturing for everyone, everything on planet Earth. And we'll all be reaping different things, almost like that seven of Pentacles, isn't it? Where I think it's the Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, the Seven of Pentacles, where we're looking at the harvest. Yeah. Oh, we've just popped over. We've got over 1,000 people with us. Thank you so much for joining us. So we are in these fateful times. There is going to, like I said, around April, March, April, there's going to be a big truth, and this could be one of these. If this iceberg breaks off, like that's it. You know, we are in a new reality, and it's going to be like ice melting in a glass. But what I hope is that brings some sense to people. Yeah, that really finally wakes a lot of people up. Maybe not the most positive message. We hope that we're wrong, but we'll have to see, won't we? Anything else to add to that, ladies, before we go on to the next question?
No, but did you see the movie Don't Look Up with Leonardo
No, I haven't seen
DiCaprio?
it yet.
Oh, you have to see it. It's all about a meteor, a gigantic meteor is coming towards the Earth, and it's so big it's going to destroy the planet. And so the scientists are saying, look, we found this meteor. It is headed towards us. We have X amount of days. We have to do something. And then you get this rich elite person who said, yeah, but there's some really nice minerals on it. They had a plan to destroy the meteor, to break it up, to prevent it from hitting the Earth. But there was so much to be mined on it. And so the reason it's called Don't Look Up is because they're calling them QAnoners without calling them QAnoners, saying, don't look up. You can't see that meteor. It's not there. It's not real. It's not real. You know, just because it's hurtling towards the planet, don't look up. It's not real. That's what they want you to think. You know, don't be a sheeple, right? And of course, what ends up happening, well, it failed. They didn't manage to mine it at all, and it destroyed the planet. And,
Wow.
you know, it's definitely worth watching. I mean, there's a lot of, it's an all-star cast, but it makes you think, like, because you have these scientists saying, look, and then literally you have like the journalist saying, look, you can actually see it. And then you have these people that are so brainwashed that are like, no, that's not real. That's not real. Like, and then it hits the Earth.
Wow.
There was one guy that wrote a book called Wormwood, and they're supposed to, you know, they're hiding that this big asteroid thing is supposed to hit us in 2029 and destroy the planet. Yeah, it's called Wormwood.
Wormwood.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
That's
Wow.
bitter stuff, all right. Wormwood.
Gosh. Well, we're having a deep show today, aren't we? We're having a deep show today. But you know what?
Just all full of light and happiness today, aren't we?
We're rays of sunshine.
But you know what? We have to reflect, don't we? This is part, isn't it, of that dialogue. What are we going to do as humanity? Are we really truly going to step up and save the planet, or are we just going to go la 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 la? It's not real. Icebergs aren't breaking off. La 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 la. There are some people that are saying, actually, maybe we need the environmental disasters to increase just to actually precisely to wake up those people that just refuse.
Unfortunately,
And humanity as it is, that can be one of these things. But shall we move on to the next question? We can probably squeeze it.
Absolutely. Let's hope we get to something a little more positive. That's us, the bearers of bad tidings today.
Well, I mean, we can ask about the voting rights. So Light Vocation asked the question, which is, will the voting rights get passed before the midterms? But I guess every question is pressing, really, isn't it? Just every question is pressing. So how about that? Will the voting rights get passed before the midterms? All right. And this is just my sixpence worth on the outside looking in. And I know we all want that infrastructure package and stuff like that, which I knew would be obstructed by you know who, those two characters from on the Democrat side. Because I read his chart, I could see the power moves in there mentioned. But the most important thing is, of course, is democracy. Without democracy, you can't pass anything. If it's all rigged and you're under a totalitarian system, that's it. It's over. So I think that is the most important thing. All right, voting rights. Ooh, Card jumped out. I'll have that there as it came out. Card jumped out. Voting rights. Voting rights. Will they get passed before the midterms? Voting rights. Voting rights. Okay. All right. So let's see what I've got here. Ah, look at this. Look at this. All right. Here we go, folks. This is the usual. Here we are. What do I get as my first card? This is the one
Big
that
surprise.
Look at that. Big surprise. First card, voting rights, etc. Now, of course, when this is card is the right way up, this is about money, opportunities, future things, entrepreneurial ideas, all forms of bounty coming that way. But when we look here, it's like, Now, if we think the voting rights was also this also as well, in a way, is kind of speaking about that infrastructure package as well, isn't it? When you think about it, which was spending a lot of money as well on the United States, etc. But look, it's come out reversed. And this card, the shadow interpretation of this card can also mean fool's gold. Fool's gold. So is there an element where the big moneyed things, could it be the big money doesn't support voting rights to a certain extent? That's the way I sort of interpret that, because we know there are a lot of very, very wealthy people that are not very interested in more autonomy and freedom in the public. So that's how I interpret that one. But look at the obstacle. Madame Virus returns. COVID. Yeah. And as we know, Omicron and all this kind of stuff has just been sweeping up and down the world. Now, I've got personal opinions on this, and where I'm like, this thing is so contagious. This whole idea of lockdowns, etc., and stuff like that, it can't really. It's just too contagious. Yeah. So this is also a factor here, which of course can affect what? The money. Yeah, because this can also mean economy. But again, look, the wealthy card keeps turning up. There's a lot of money behind a lot of people that do not want to see voting rights pass. It's not in their financial interest. It started out with a pentacle, Ace of Pentacles. We've got COVID in there, and then we've got the wealthy in there, the elites there as well. What are they trying to do? Trying to turn truth and justice upside down. Yeah, we've got the sword, the King of Swords. And the King of Swords, again, speaks about the law, etc. But he's reversed. This can be a spiteful, vindictive person. So could this be the case that there are many well-heeled individuals out there with this Nine of Pentacles who really don't want to see truth, justice, righteousness come forward? And then the last card I get as the outcome card, look, I get the Hierophant. The Hierophant's back again, but reversed.
Yeah.
So I look at that as, I'm not sure that this, and this is of course for entertainment purposes only, me just going on this instinct. I really hope to be wrong on this. But when I look at these cards, it looks like there is a lot of moneyed interest that are going to do their best to make sure justice is not served. And some of those people have already infiltrated the government, unfortunately, on both sides. The Hierophant is just government overall. So that's both sides, unfortunately. That's my spin. So I'm not hopeful. Sorry. Sorry.
Okay.
I know.
Well, I know it's tough. So I think my cards are a bit more optimistic, but maybe because I'm looking a little bit further out.
Ah.
So the first card I get is one of my two cards for the US, the Empress.
Oh, that's a nice card.
So, right. So good card to get, just tells me that I'm on track. Yeah, we're talking about US voting rights here. The obstacle is, I think a lot of people have lost their faith and trust in the government. And think about it, think of everything that we've been put through, the last 4 years that we had gone through with 45, and, it really made people lose a lot of faith and trust. It's going to be a ruthless battle, and we already know that there's an abuse of power in politics. That's no surprise. But there's going to be a point where those in power pull back, they retreat, and they start to reflect upon things. They become a bit more introspective. But like you, I do get that there's a lot of big money behind this 10 of Pentacles. I mean, you can't get more golden coins on a card than this.
Yeah.
And so there is a lot of money, I think, on both sides of this. And, for the outcome, I do get the card of like peace, love, and happiness. But I really like the clarifier that I get, which is 10 of Winter. And it says, the resolution of difficulties, a weight lifted off your shoulders, the end of codependency.
Wow.
So the resolution of difficulties, a weight lifted off your shoulders. So, but none of my cards are very fast moving. And you're asking, is it going to happen by a certain date? That I'm not willing to commit to, but I am willing to commit to saying, yes, it's going to happen. But I'm not willing to put a date on it because my cards are pretty slow moving.
Very interesting. Well, at least that's a bit more cheery than what turned up in my hands.
Definitely.
There's hope, folks. There's hope. There's hope.
There's a light at the end of the tunnel. It's just the tunnel's long.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it's long. And Lady G, what do you have to share with us? What do you have?
I have the card of Temperance to begin with. Balance, but sometimes it's kind of a cooling off, cooling off. We have, again, challenge, a lot of money behind it and working on things. But we have a full cup. Okay. A lot of stuff is going on now. Full cup overflowing. I have this World card, kind of coming to an end, but it was skewed to the negative on that. And we have also the Spire, the one coming out to, fight against it, also to the negative. So I think we have those that are going to be trying to hold off on 2022. They're going to try to put the brakes on it. So I think Diane's right that it's going to come, but later. They're going to try to Mickey Mouse what they can to try to skew it so they can get in power in 2022, as many seats as they can.
Absolutely. That's what it seems to be there. It's it's what times, I mean, I wish I could have been more positive in my prognosis, but you can imagine as well, I'm from the outside looking in, so I always get a slightly different read, don't I?
Sure.
And of course, you can imagine it may be hard for other Americans to appreciate just how much this is affecting the rest of the world, because imperfect, kind of like with Joe Biden's speech, actually, and actually, I think we should end it with questions there and just have a little debate out, because we're almost at the time anyway. So we saw Biden, give his speech. It was a great speech, It was like, he had his Duracell batteries in for that speech, and it was brilliant. But then also as well, I wanted to get the two of you's thought on this. There was also a thing I felt immediately as well, and maybe it's because I'm a Brit. But there was a part of me was just like, that was great. But what took so long for that speech to come in all of the horrors that we have seen? What is happening now? So much has taken place. But ladies, what did you think about Biden's speech? How did it make you feel?
I thought the timing was intentional. I don't think it was too late. I think it was intentional, because first of all, he's not going to say anything that's going to incriminate himself, right? So the way I took it was, he knows something now. He knows something for sure now. Whoa. He knows what's going to come forward now. And that's why he said it. He didn't want to say it too soon. Didn't want to show his hand. Yeah. But I felt like it was intentional, and it's actually a positive sign that he knows something is about to happen.
Wow.
That's how I interpreted it. How about you, Lady J?
Yeah, I think so, because he usually is just very sedate. And this time he just came out and said, I'm a big loser. Okay, you lost, loser.
That's the deck, and I got that.
That's my card for him. Yep.
Yeah, so he just is out there pushing that button this time. And I think it's just, time to make 45 implode, implosion time, because he was going to talk on January 6th. And then they said, no. And I think it's his daughter. And they told him, oh, no. You do not want to do that. So then Biden comes out.
He knows something. I mean, when I was watching it, like, ooh.
Yeah. Oh, that's juicy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
It was nice to see. I mean, I saw him passionate and animated and forthright and strident and presidential and stuff like that. And it's like he's got it in him. He does have it in him, but it's almost like he has to kind of, sit down off stage, get his breath back together, and then they wheel him out, and then he's like, rah. And I hope that it's not too late. What I fear is that there are many people that have made their minds up.
Mhm.
And what I think, do you remember when I was talking about Duck L'Orange, and I was saying, whenever I see him, I think of the Komodo dragon. And do you remember how I said the Komodo dragon, it's this thing, it lumbers along, and it's not necessarily the wittiest or the brightest, but it's very powerful. But when it gets its maw onto you, when it bites you, it's this poison that sort of leaches in this bacteria, and then it ends up debilitating that animal. And then it comes, once it's completely capacitated, and it consumes that animal. And for me, Duck L'Orange has that kind of energy where, yes, he's been sort of shunted off to the side, but this poison that it's almost like when I close my eyes and when I think of certain aspects of America, it makes me think of gangrene. I keep seeing gangrene, and I'm just like, something has to be cut off to save. Do you know what I mean? To save it. So I don't know, maybe that's a bit dramatic, but these things, we've been joined as well by 1,176 of you tonight.
Wow.
So I'll say thank you
Awesome.
so much for that. We'll read out a few names. Thank you again for the donations. We've got Lucky, Christina Tanky, Celtic Sia, Sharon Saipe, Chris MK, Marion Dorm, I think it is. Yeah, Dorm. Teresa Levine and Tris, and many of you have joined us tonight. Also, as well, ladies, I wanted to give you both the opportunity, if there's anything you want to talk about or promote on your channels, or any closing messages before we bring this show to a close with less than 2 minutes to go.
All good here. I'm happy camper.
Yeah, I'm good. I mean, if you want to, I know I'm booked pretty far out, like into May, but if you do want a reading, you can go to my website, DianneAquarius.com. And if you want to become a member, I'm about to start a 12th class now, and you'd get all 11 classes. Now a new 12th class. And I do, oh gosh, how many lives a month do I do? I do a lot of lives a month, 5 or 6 lives a month. So you can check out the membership.
Wonderful. And I would say,
I might as well put out real quick. I do lives every Friday. And yes, I do personal readings as well. And I've just been focusing on the artwork and having a lot of fun with that.
Which is amazing.
I sold 4 pieces today. Somebody bought 4 pieces today.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying that. So,
oh, that's perfect.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Well, in that case, let's bring the show to a close. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I myself, I've still got my 25% off all my readings offer, which is my Christmas offer. Just HoGi, H-O-G-Y, lowercase 25. And of course, I have a membership as well where I've got the Vedic Apprentice where you can learn all about astrology and those things. But thanks, everyone, for joining us today. We covered some deep questions, but there will be a lot of deep stuff to talk about. Such are the times, but keep the hope going, keep the optimism going. And we just want to say thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next time. All right. Cheers. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.